Yo, what's going on, people? I go by Rasdakai. This is my channel called Rasdakai. This upcoming video is part two of something that I was doing at first, but I decided to go in a different direction with this channel. Feel free to check it out, like, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff. And without further ado, part two. It reminds me of many other films in that same category that's like kind of black heavy, where you see like a lot of black people doing their thing, kind of like Coming to America. What's another one? Well, shit, like a lot of
Oh yeah,
older Eddie Murphy movies, basically.
yeah. I mean,
uh,
that's what Eddie really brought it there, especially with Coming to America. It was kind of this idea of flipping these tropes about what kind of roles black people would play, and I'm sure at the time, um, and I'm not sure if Eddie ever spoke on this or not, but I'm sure at the time it was not lost on him while they were filming that movie that there were really no representations of black folks as coming from royalty, as coming
yeah,
from,
yeah,
the elite, the upper strata at this level. And I mean, Eddie was huge then too. I mean, it's hard to state. He was essentially like the Louis Armstrong of comedy,
hmm,
in so many ways. I think, especially at that time, there was nothing he could say or do that could really get him in trouble at that time
yeah,
either.
yeah. He was that dude, man. And I watched Coming to America here recently, maybe a couple weeks ago or something like that. And to me, it's like it was funny, but it was more of an inspiration. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
To just to see, you know what I'm saying, like, Eddie doing his thing, bringing like all these people in.
Oh yeah,
uh it was an inspiration for black love. It was an inspiration for black royalty, or black substance, that black people as a whole are more than the negative stereotypes
yeah,
perpetuated throughout media and stuff
absolutely.
like that. Yeah.
And and in the fictitious African country, that that the family is from, in the film, kind of gave that sense, I think, in that time, that there are treasures in Africa, kind of almost like a Wakanda type thing, maybe for the
Yep.
modern taste, where
Yep.
Africa, the portrayal, and especially um, in the 80s, in the early 90s, was is pretty much just that there's an extreme amount of poverty and you know lack of food, and just terrible droughts and terrible violence and genocides, but not that there's culture there, or kings and queens and heroes, and there are today.
Hmm.
And that it speaks to some kind of black excellence, and not just tragedy and pain, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's as a whole, to me, it's like there are humans there. You know what I'm saying? not not
We
not
are
not just
people
like,
here.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, not just like
We're not just
poverty and
victims.
and and,
Yeah,
and people to be pitied. You know what I'm saying? There are
absolutely.
human beings over there that they
And
live, they love, they
there are
want to
human
buy shit.
beings that step on other human, that step on rose petals to
Yeah.
walk wherever they're walking, and that was, he made that in that film something that wasn't unimaginable
Hmm.
for the black imagination. And it's so important, such a formative movie for me as a young man. And in so many ways it showed um Eddie's character, walking through the life of a black man in the US. It's it's
Hmm.
an everyday man going to the barbershop, working the dead end job, with the overbearing boss,
Hmm.
trying to find some kind of social acceptance, trying to find genuine love, things like that. um, and I think it was so poignant for the times, and just so funny, just hilarious.
Oh yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
so
Man,
damn
it's just,
funny.
And I mean that was Eddie's specialty, you know what I'm saying? Like when he came out with his own film, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, it had both comedy and meaning behind it to me, you know what I'm saying?
Oh
That
yeah.
there were conversations to be had. Now, another Eddie Murphy movie. It's not necessarily his movie, but he was in it. He kind of added to it. That I want to see that I haven't seen in like a long time is 48 Hours. You know, and
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I heard some stuff about it, and now that I'm older, I want to see it again. You know, I'm older, wiser, so on and so forth. I
Right.
want to see it
Right.
again just to kind of see what I can pick from it. You know.
I mean, one of my formative Eddie movies that I came up with that kind of inspired me as a very young black kid was seeing him in Beverly Hills Cop. And
Whoo.
that was such a hit
Yeah,
for him,
yeah.
and it was kind of one of those things where this classic trope that so many people have copied by now. I mean, arguably, the Fresh Prince, and a lot of
Mhm,
other
and Martin.
shows, yeah, kind of
Yeah.
draw inspiration from some of this lineage of black films about the black person or the black
Oh,
family that
yeah.
makes it,
Yeah.
or that
Yeah.
they go to the higher class, upper class, the more liberal, the more white and more elite,
Mhm.
area, and they have to make their way and try to. And what I loved about Axel Foley in that film is that he really was as much of a wild card as any white guy who played those roles in film. At that he was Kurt Russell in that. He
Yeah.
was Bruce Willis. Like he
Yeah.
could
Kurt Russell, Bruce Willis, what the fuck is his name? Mel Gibson, you know what I'm
Mel
saying?
Gibson.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so I really felt like in many ways that film was like that free willing, transcended kind of like I can walk amongst, the upper class white folks and shoot bad guys just with the best of them.
Mhm.
I love that film growing up, and I wanted to go jump from the tops of Ferris wheel. Yeah, that's a pretty famous scene in that movie where he in the Beverly Hills Cop 2, where he's trying to save a kid on the Ferris wheel and it's shut down. And I was like, wow,
Mhm.
every time I go
Was
on
it
one, I'm like,
2?
is it possible?
Yeah.
Was
Y
that one or two?
it that might be 3,
Might
'cause,
be
3 was sort of at, like, a theme park.
Wally's World.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! All right,
Yeah. Yeah.
going down memory lane with that one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have to watch them again myself. It's been a while. Uh, but yeah, like Axel Foley being in his position, like you said, it provided a, different kind of like dynamic, you know what I'm saying, to seeing black people on the big screen or mini screen or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to where we're not just people being policed. We can
Right.
also be the policers, you know what I'm saying? Like we can also be like, the people investigating like other people, no, like no matter what race they are, of
Right.
committing, like, crimes and shit like that. So it definitely switched up the dynamic, and I feel like Eddie contributed to that a lot.
Yeah, it certainly put, black talent in that place where you can go out and really have a smash hit with a black lead, and he can fill the role that would have traditionally been probably filled by, a white guy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I think that there's some, obviously that was progress, and that, you know I think that those kinds of roles, when, you know black folks have been allowed to kind of step into them, given that shot, um,
Hmm.
when you get to that place where you can do that and succeed, it really kind of opens those doors. But I do see some problematic trends that have kind of continued in that cop, black guy as the lead cop genre, where I do feel like black people tend to overrepresent cops and military people, and
Mm.
in film, and we don't get enough of those creative roles, is black royalty, things like that. I mean, we didn't. Just going back to coming to America is like one of these formative kind of, wow, we can be royalty as black people kind of imaginative films. I really don't think anything has filled that role in that space for
Hmm.
black folks until Bridgerton's, and that just came out, the end of 2020, right?
Yeah, I haven't even seen it honestly. I'm gonna have to look up Bridgerton's.
Yeah, you may have to check that one out. And it's one of these. It's a black lead in it, and black folks, and really all races of folks are represented in this. It's kind of a reimagining of Victorian kind of lifestyle, period piece, and
Yeah.
but it's mixed, and that the lead is a black guy, and I think that we definitely have to highlight and hold dear more the films that break those molds of tough guys and tropes that are already in play. Being cowboys on film, like anybody can do that. But
Mhm.
having black stories in these films that we take with us. How quotable is a Black Dynamite or a Coming to America? Because for some people that was like the stepdad was watching these movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I find that interesting as well.